Hey, how's it going? Time to prep my Milodon oil pump. Okay, so this wasn't what I planned to do this week. I planned to do some other stuff, but the weather's not cooperating. Here, let me show you. You'll see. We got all this snow, just like that. So, I can't do what I wanted to do, but I can do this. Well, I can do it here in a minute after I clean up this mess. So, give me a sec. Okay, that's better. Now I have a clean work area. Let me get started. One Milodon oil pump. Instructions. We'll put them away for right now. I hate how they tie these things. I got a hole in it anyway. Okay. The main reason I want to use an oil pump like this is because I mentioned in a previous video it has a thicker casting so it'll withstand, higher horsepower vibrations and not break off and fall into the oil pan and kill your engine. So, anyways, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to modify this pump. Of course it's metric. One sec. Metric. Good old 10. It's actually there. Okay, well, not anymore. I just took it out and put it on the thing. You get the idea. Okay, let's open this sucker up. Get off there. Making a bigger mess than I wanted. Okay, if you want to know how an oil pump works, this is not the video. Almost. Close. This is not a video about how oil pumps work. This is about modifying my oil pump. That rust or grease? Doesn't matter, it's going to get sanded. So basically, I'm going to remove the gears, set those aside, put them in the box. And what I want to do is modify the inside some. Well, I'm not really pouring the pump because I'm not trying to increase the oil flow. I'm trying to make the oil flow cost less horsepower. And as a byproduct, I'm going to get more oil flow. So, I mean, there's various ways to offset that. For example, in the cover is a pressure release spring. Some people will put a higher pressure spring in, others will put a lower pressure spring in. We'll see. I'll let you decide. Well, I'll let you decide on your pump, not my pump. I'm going to put what I want in it. Okay, so I have to remove this roll pin. One sec. Alright, we'll give this a shot. Drill bit. I don't have a punch small enough. Give me a sec. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Drill bit worked. Roll pin's mostly out. And there is the spring. Pressure relief spring. And I'll throw something else in there. Yeah, should come up. Don't ask me. I gotta deburr the hole just to get the piston out. Well, it's a through hole, so I gotta deburr both ends. See, it's coming out. And there's the piston, the pressure relief piston. Okay, I'm going to put all these little parts in a Ziploc bag so that way I don't lose them. I'll have to look up what pressure the yellow spring is later. There, that's a good spot for it. Like I said, everything's going to get cleaned up anyway, so before final reassembly. Okay, all my parts are in a bag. Get the roll pin out of there. There we go. Alright, all the small parts in the bag. The pump is tore down. Put small parts away so they can't get damaged or lost. And the idea is to, we want to clean up some of these sharp edges in here. You probably can't see that well. But there's a little bit of sharp edges in the big hole. Right there. Smooth those out. And we want to also clean up mainly the entry into that hole right there, because that goes to your feed your engine. Now, this is not my first pump, and I'm kind of surprised being this being an aftermarket pump, it doesn't have a little smoother entry. It's actually pretty rigid in there. I mean, it's almost, here, let me see. It's almost like a sharp edge right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a carbide and I'm going to chamfer the hole. I want to, funnel it out so that when the oil is crammed into that hole, it's smoother. I'm also going to sand down some of these casting areas in here, like right here and right here. Oh, no, not right there. Sorry, the camera made me. Right there where it says 94. Not the machined areas. I'm going to leave those alone. Why it says 94, I don't know. It's probably part of the inspection process. I don't know. This is my first time taking this pump apart, so no clue. Your guess is as good as mine. Ooh, there's a nasty casting line down the whole inlet tube. Let me see if I can get a light in there. Come on, light. There we go. You can see that nasty casting line in there? So I gotta take that out now too. And I will work and chamfer this end some too, right here where the oil comes out. This hole is where the bolt goes through, or stud, whatever you're using. But where the light's coming through, too much light. right this hole right here, I'm gonna chamfer it out a little bit, you know, so it can flow out easier as well. Now, what I also want to do is, one sec, I got a great example I just remembered. I've already done a pump. I almost completely forgot about it. And no, I'm not going to use this pump. This pump I'm actually saving. It's a more expensive milling shark tooth pump. I wish I had enough money to use them on every engine. Well, aside from engines like the Donor Crate. Sorry, not Donor Crate, Donor Vortec. Because that engine, I wouldn't want to put a good pump on. I wouldn't waste it. That one, I'm actually going to take the oil pump off of the Crate engine and put, you know, on that one. There's a little bit of oil in here. I oiled it up so it wouldn't rust up on me after I worked it. Because you never know, stuff sits around and rusts, and you got to start over. So let me see here if we can give you a little better example. Oh, come on. This whole reverse camera thing is a totally new experience. Okay. Well, you can kind of see I've chamfered the entry. So when the oil is, you know, comes in the pickup, comes in this side over here, the gears push it over to this side and cram it through the hole and all the way to your engine. It's a little smoother now. I've also worked and cleaned up the casting on this end some too. Now, I couldn't remember, I rolled up too much. I couldn't remember if this one had anti-cavitation grooves in it, and it doesn't appear so. I thought they had them. Oh, silly me. It's the shark tooth. The whole point of the shark tooth is anti-cavitation because the gears are at a slant. So, they don't bother the grooving. What I'm going to do for this Milodon, I don't know how to say it, is I'm going to add some grooves, possibly in the cover, and where the gears are in the main body, which I'll show you that later. Too much oil. So, this one didn't have a roll pin. It's a nice feature about the shark tooth is it had a screw-in cap in there, and screw-in plug, not just that roll pin. Which that's another thing I made with this pump. I made, instead of having that roll pin, I'll drill the hole larger, tap it, and use a bolt instead, and Loctite that bolt. It's another popular mod. I mean, there's all kinds of mods you can do to the small block Chevy oil pumps. Some of them are more RPM oriented, like, you know, they'll drill and pin the gears and drill holes for oil here and there. I'm more worried about just a little bit of flow improvement. Well, sorry, a little bit of less power to pump the oil, and I want it to not cavitate at a higher RPM. Because I'm not going quite as high, so I don't have to work too much. But I think my research led me to believe a little above 5,000 RPM oil pumps start to cavitate just a little bit. So, you know, it's not going to hurt nothing to put a couple grooves in there. I'm going to do it. But, as always, I'm going to include a warning. So, what I want to do in this end, you can see right here, got the wrong hand, wrong end of the flashlight. And just like that, smooth it all out. So, I'm going to get started. I'll cut it with the burrs, and then I'll give you a progress update, and we'll move on to the rest. Bonus clip. Before I put away the shark tooth oil pump, I'll show you a couple things. One is, they have these alignment dials for the cap, so it, you know, aligns better. The next thing is, you can see the gear shaft is not flush, because it actually protrudes into the cap, so it can further, you know, strengthen it and not deflect. So, FYI, it's a really nice pump. Time for a progress report. But before I begin, I just want to say I have never done anti-cavitation grooves before. It's a modification I've always wanted to try, and now that I've done it, I would say it's definitely on the advanced side. It was a little more difficult than I thought. I mean, I probably didn't go as deep with the grooves as I should, but I'd rather be on the shallow side than too deep. So let's get started. Okay. You can see here I've worked the oil outflow. It's kind of a D shape, so it's irregular than the other pumps I've done. They're more round. And it was really hard to kind of get in the corners. I had to use a smaller burr. This one's 3/8, this one's 1/4. But I think it turned out fine. I mean, it turned out as much time as I want to put into this casting, basically. You can see in there where I worked off that casting line. I still got to sand the rest of it down, of course. But we'll move on to the other end. I get this to stay. There we go. There wasn't much I could do on this end. I just kind of worked it a little on either side, because once again it's like a D shape, and it's already kind of big. Moving on to the cover. There's quite a bit of a edge on either side from the drill. And I worked them off, radius the turn some. And I didn't chase the bottom drill casting lines. It just make it bigger than it really needs to be. I just kind of got what I could. And here's the cover anti-cavitation grooves. I based it off some pictures and examples I found online. Just did a rough drawing and copied it. I mean, there's only so much you can do by yourself. If it's done by machine, obviously it'll be a lot more precise. So now all I gotta do is go over everything with various cart rolls and sanding stones, clean it up, oil it up, and set it aside. Oh, and I used a 1/8 inch carbide and stone for the grooves, just so you know. Well, grab me a bite to eat and I'll get back to work. Okay, I finished up the pump last night. It's all sanded up nice and pretty. Well, as much time as I want to put into it. But for that, I just wanted to show you this pump. I forgot I also had a M55 HV, milling high volume pump. I'm not using it. It came with a pan, so I mean it was a very good deal. And I don't really like high volume pumps, and I don't really want to get into that either. People have their opinions, so research it for yourself. Anyways, the reason I wanted to show you this pump is because it already has pretty much a better radius in there. This pump will take minimal effort. I mean, even the other end is nice and radiused. So, aside from the casting being a little rougher on this pump, because that was the one nice thing about the Milodon, is the casting was a little smoother to start with, but you saw for yourself. It needed a little more carbide work. So, tit for tat, you're going to put your work in someplace. Usually. Anyways, here's the pump. You can see I just cleaned up the casting where it wasn't machined. And I got a little carried away here, but it's no big deal. Of course, I got down in there. Smoothed out the rest of that. As best as I could. Yeah. I'm not sure if I like this camera format yet. So you have to comment and let me know. But here's the lid. Cover, whatever you want to call it. And so that's it. pretty much done. Although I was going to go into one more thing in this video, but I think I'm going to make that a short other video after this. So what I wanted to show you guys was also how I resurface the oil pump or other small objects, by using a mirror and some sandpaper. I know, pretty short and sweet, but some people are not interested in that, so I'll make it a short and sweet video. So otherwise, I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. Keep it real.